another day and welcome to my kitchen for another cook with me video, summer edition. Now the way I compiled these recipes was just thinking of things that I have been hungry for lately, tried and true recipes, some new ones, snacks, full-fledged entrees, desserts. I have so many different things in store for you today and I'm just excited to be back in the kitchen again. Most of my house is torn apart right now due to construction and the kitchen still feels normal for the most part. If you're new to my channel, I am Megan Fox. I'm a Mennonite living in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I love to cook when I have the time and I'm excited to do it with you all today. So let's get into it. So nothing says summer to me quite like a crunchy dill pickle straight out of the fridge. It's gotta be cold. And yes, you can buy pickles, I know, but there's nothing like fresh homemade ones. And I was blown away. Online, I found a recipe for homemade dill pickles that I'm supposed to have in under 6 hours, or about 6 hours. And you literally just put some dill, salt, and vinegar in a jar with the pickles. And you just wait. So we're gonna try these out, see if they're good. I'm a little skeptical. I feel like they need sugar. I don't know, every time my mom made pickles, they always had gobs of sugar in them. But I'm like curious to try them because if I like them without sugar, that's even better because my kids can eat them like candy, right? It's pretty much just pickled cucumbers. And we're gonna see how they are. I will let you know in about 6 hours. I'm really excited. I've been creating all things like sour. Yeah, anything super sour I've been into. So we will see how this turns out. I'll let you guys know. So I just started by slicing up all the cucumbers, and I had bought in the organic ones because they were only a couple cents more. I'm not a huge organic girl, but I'm trying to get better at it, especially if it's not going to be super costly. And then I guess I read the directions wrong and I thought you could just like pour the vinegar in, then add the salt, you know, which then I was thinking about it, how's that gonna work? So I poured the vinegar back out again and I made my mixture in a container. So it's just vinegar, salt, and dill. And the recipe calls for fresh dill, so definitely get fresh dill if you have it. When I went to the grocery store, I could not find fresh dill and my dill all got scorched in the sun. I was so disappointed. So I just used dried dill weed and that worked just fine. Just remember, if you're using dried, you need half as much as fresh, so don't mess that up. And this has plenty of dill in it. You could probably even cut back on it even more. And the recipe actually had all different ideas of different things you could add, and I'm not gonna give away if I liked them yet or not. We're gonna wait till the end and you'll see. But I think next time I'm gonna experiment and add a clove of garlic and see how I like that. It also mentioned red pepper flakes, which I'm not huge on spicy pickles. I don't know how these are actually gonna turn out, but I'm telling you right now, they're already so good. They're crisp and like sour from the vinegar. For some reason, they taste kind of sweet. I'm excited. Cucumbers are an awesome thing for you to plant in your garden, and then this is a great way to use them up. Unfortunately, it was not cucumber season yet here in Pennsylvania. I wanted to film this now, so it's inspiration for you coming up here in July and August. And actually this year, I did not even plant cucumbers. If I decide to do pickles, I can buy a whole bunch that are ready all at the same time right down the road at a farmer's market. So that's kind of the route I take. And I don't make pickles every year either, even though we are pickle monsters. We all love pickles. Okay, it has been 6 hours, and that's how long it said online to wait. So I guess I don't have to wait any longer. And if you notice that the jars aren't quite full, it's because I've been snacking here and there on them. So I kind of have an idea of how these are gonna taste. They tasted amazing, like 10 minutes in, they tasted amazing. So let's see how they are now. Here, let me give them a good shake quick. I'm going in for another one. How can these be healthy? There's no sugar in them. They're so good. Yeah, and I can only imagine how amazing these would be if you had fresh dill. Like, wow, because these are like 10 out of 10 already. I'm always hesitant to share new recipes that I've never tried before on my YouTube channel because what if they fail? This one did not fail, guys. Try it out. Especially if you want that like canning feeling without actually doing any canning. If you don't like sour pickles, you're not gonna like these. These are sour. They are amazing. They're way crunchier than bought ones, which makes sense. They've never been heated. It's literally a vegetable in dill, vinegar, and salt. Water. Okay, so I'm about to make some s'mores fudge. It's gonna be so good, but my kids are down for their naps. I am famished. And something that I like to do when I'm just so busy, I hardly have time to cook a good meal, but I also, you know, want something healthy and delicious at the same time that I actually look forward to. I love to grab a Daily Harvest bowl, and I placed a new order for Daily Harvest like 2 weeks ago, and then they reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to sponsor a video, and I'm like, I just bought another whole box, so you can send me more free products because I'm always down for more Daily Harvest. But just thought I'd tell you that story so you know how authentic this collaboration is. I don't know if it's just like the Mennonite in me. I'm not used to eating food without meat in it, and I don't really have a lot of creativity when it comes to vegetables, and I feel like Daily Harvest has opened my mind up to a whole new flavor palette. Today I'm going to be making their harvest bowl with, it's called butternut squash and kale shakshuka. And in it there's tomatoes, cauliflower, butternut squash, kale, black garlic, and za'atar. I particularly love these on busy days where I am like editing in my office and I don't have time to really cook much. And I feel like when I don't have time to cook a lot, I'll just like snack on like random things, and that's not good for me. And I've really been trying to take my health seriously, especially with a third kid, and you know, I'm gonna have 3 children, 4 and under. So I want to take care of my body, and I feel like even if this wasn't good for me, I would still want to eat it because it's so delicious. I really love their harvest bowls and their oat bowls. So I'm gonna go ahead and make one right now, tell you a little bit more about it, and then we'll get into some more recipes. The reason I keep ordering Daily Harvest is because it is so good, and then also really easy. I feel like, yeah, it just takes no work at all. I literally just choose what I want out of my freezer. I will put it into a kettle on the stove and warm it up. For the oat bowls, I will use half a cup of whole milk. And then for the harvest bowls, if I have some broth in the fridge, I will just put a little splash in, or I'll just use water, and it's still so flavorful. The other reason I love Daily Harvest is that it's flavors that I can't really make myself. I mean, I can experiment with different ingredients and stuff, but they never taste the same, not like these do. Even if you are a meat girl like me, they're still amazing with everything being gluten-free, dairy-free, and plant-based. So if you want, you could always throw some chicken or something in there, but I rarely ever do because it's just so good the way it is. I don't want to mess it up. 95% of their ingredients are organic, and they're always listed visibly in the bold packaging. And Daily Harvest is a service that delivers right to your door, so did I even mention the convenience? Yes, I think I did already a couple times. But yes, they will ship everything right to your door, and you just pop them in your freezer and they're there for you when you want them. They actually offer a lot of other foods that I don't have time to show you right now, but they have smoothies and flatbreads, soups and lattes, chia bowls, bites, so many different things. You have to just look at their colorful website and see what they have. And right now with my code Megan40, you guys can get up to $40 off your first box. And I'll put that link right at the top of my description box so you can't miss it. Again, you're gonna get up to $40 off with the code Megan40. It is amazing. I look forward to every single bowl, and I think you guys should definitely check it out with that code. It will save you, and you'll also get to, you know, try something new if you haven't before. Thank you, Daily Harvest, for sponsoring this video and my late lunch. It is divine. So for this recipe, you are going to need some semi-sweet chocolate chips, or another kind of chocolate that you prefer, sweetened condensed milk, mini marshmallows, honey graham crackers, or whatever graham crackers you guys like, and pure vanilla extract. Okay, to be honest, I chose to include this recipe not only because s'mores, summertime, you have to, right? But because they're like my literal favorite sweet. And I only make them when I have a party or guests coming because I cannot be trusted with these. But it's really simple to make. You just want to combine your sweetened condensed milk and your chocolate chips and heat them up. You could totally do it on your stovetop, but I just always use the microwave and stir that together. Then you want to add your vanilla and let it sit for a while, guys. You don't want it to be too hot when you go in there with the marshmallows because it's going to kind of mess with the texture. One of the beauties of this fudge is all the different textures inside each bite.
so you don't want the chocolate to be hot enough to melt the marshmallows. This is a great time to clean up your kitchen, crush your graham crackers, and just make sure you have everything ready to go. After it's cooled a little bit, add your marshmallows and your crushed graham crackers and stir that all together. Trust me, it's gonna look good. Don't worry, it looks kind of funny as you start to combine it there, but it will be amazing. And then spread that mixture in a foil-lined pan and put it in the fridge to cool, and try to use as much self-control and patience as you can. And then after they're cooled completely, I actually just waited till the next day, you can go ahead and slice them.
Okay, doing a taste test with you guys is completely unnecessary. I know how good it's gonna be, but I wanted to show you kind of how I like to cut them up. I just want to eat some on camera, right? So what I like to do is leave like long handles kind of on the tin foil on either side so I can easily pull it right out. That always seems to work the best, and then I like to cut it up with a big knife. And if you did want to make more, I would recommend doing a 9x13 glass pan and then doubling the recipe, and then it would be a very thick fudge, which I'm all about. I just love all the little pockets of marshmallow and the crunchy graham cracker. Now, I will say you do want to make sure these are in an airtight container because the graham crackers will get kind of stale if you're not careful. And I will say I wouldn't make these too far ahead of time. The oils and stuff and the sweetened condensed milk kind of sit in on the graham crackers after a while, and they're kind of spongy and they lose their crunch. Don't worry, you won't have any problems getting them eaten, and you could freeze them or just leave them in your fridge. The texture will just change a little bit, but let's taste them. I've been waiting for this for the last 24 hours. So divine. Absolutely heavenly. I knew I had to include them in this video, even though I think I've shared these before. They're just the best. Amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna get the rest of these cut up, and I guess I should probably go share.
And feel free to cut these squares as big or as small as you want. The chocolate part is sweet. Yes, it's pretty sweet, but I find that they're not too sweet because of the graham crackers and the marshmallow in there. It's just like a perfect blend. And just a fun little story, when I was a second grade school teacher, one day for a math class, we made boxes of fudge as Christmas gifts for the parents, and we made peanut butter fudge, traditional fudge, and this s'mores fudge. I don't know what happened to the other two recipes, but the s'mores recipe has stuck around for years. I love it so much. I can't sing its praises high enough. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Tag me on Instagram. This recipe is legendary.
So to me, nothing says summer like food trucks and just outdoor markets. Do you guys have food trucks in your area? We have like lots of events, like food truck frenzies, or there's like food trucks everywhere all lined up. And I love empanadas. I know empanadas are traditionally not a Mennonite recipe, but I don't know why not, because us Mennonites are like all into our pies. Why not into our hand pies or our empanadas? I think we should make them a Mennonite staple. Anyway, I am making another batch of these empanadas that I made just a little while ago that turned out so delicious. And they're kind of a little work, but the kids are down for their naps, and I'm just gonna make these for supper. Now, the last time I made them, I had problems with them leaking the filling out, and the recipe says that if you put them in the fridge for a little bit, you shouldn't have that problem. So I'm starting a little bit early on them so they'll have time to sit in the fridge. I just made them for a party and they were delicious. Check out my apron. I got it off of Amazon. I can link it below, but how perfect. It matches my kitchen so well. I feel like I'm in camouflage. Okay, not quite, but yeah, I love the little like brass gold details on it. So yeah, very cute. Anyway, I thought if I make a big batch of these, I can put some in the freezer, and I might take some to my friend tomorrow who just had her baby. So that's really exciting. Anyway, I'm gonna be at this for a little bit, so I will take you guys along for the process, and we'll see how these turn out.
So first you start out by making a very simple dough. All it takes is some flour, some salt, some butter, and an egg. This is a great beginner thing to do. And I was thinking as I was making this, how fun if I had like an 8 or 10 or 12-year-old daughter who would want to help me with this. I think this would be a perfect like hands-on project, maybe even like a homeschool project to do if you have, you know, a daughter or a son for that matter. So after I made my dough, I divided it into 12 equal parts, and then I moved on to the filling. And I'm gonna say this again later, but literally you can use whatever you want for inside. Use literally bits and pieces of what you have flying around in your fridge that need to get used up. For this, I had a very specific flavor palette in mind, and so I actually bought special things for this. I have mozzarella cheese, cheddar cheese, parmesan, and I always grate my own cheese. It's so much better. And then to that, I added some garlic, and I just cheated here and used already minced garlic, and then ricotta cheese to act kind of like a glue. This will make things a little bit more like sticky. And don't worry, you're also going to add a little bit more liquid in the form of red pesto sauce. I get this at Aldi. I'm sure Walmart has its own version. Most stores I'm sure do. I like to just keep a jar on hand for when I need it. And the problem with pesto though is that I'll use it one time for a recipe and then I'll forget about it in my fridge and it goes bad. So I'll try to remember to freeze the rest of this within a week if I'm not going to use it anymore for anything else. And I'm gonna put approximate measurements down below for actually the quantities. I actually had to go back in and make a little bit more then because my dough I must have rolled thinner than the last time and I needed a little bit more. So it's kind of a little bit of an experiment, kind of like dipping chips. You never have quite the right amount. The last time I made these, I had a little extra of the filling, so it's just how it works. Then I have this handy dandy empanada maker, and now that I know I use this, I'm gonna look for a cute metal one. This one works great though. I think it's from Pampered Chef. I found it at a thrift store, and I just roll out my little circles of dough and fill them and then fold them in half into a half moon shape, press them into the empanada maker, and then this just crimps it down. You don't need this. You could use a fork, that's completely fine, but I had this and I just think it makes it look so pretty. I just scrape off the extra dough around the edges and definitely save those pieces. You're gonna use them later. You can, you know, totally combine them at the end and have enough for a couple more empanadas. And this is so satisfying. Look how pretty that looks. I was just, yeah, they're so pretty. I filmed so many clips that I really didn't need just because I just loved how pretty they looked, and just working with dough is just kind of therapeutic in a way. I hope you guys, if you make them, you just take the time to make them when you're not in a rush, when you're more relaxed, and you can just kind of enjoy the process. And then I like to put them in the fridge for a little bit just to have them set up a little bit better. It's supposed to help with them leaking. You know, you don't want the filling to leak out, but I've not had great 100% success with that, but we will see how it works out this time. And shots like this just make me realize how much I love my slate appliances. Just look at that. Compared to the black, so much better. It's touchless. There's not fingerprints all over it. I mean, I knew slate looks good in real life, but looking at it here on camera makes me realize it photographs way better too. So if you are looking for an appliance finish recommendation, definitely go with the slate. I love it. I've had stainless before, and it's just really hard to keep clean. So no regrets with the slate. So a couple hours later, I got them out of the fridge, put them on a foil lined baking sheet, and then I painted them with just a whisked up egg. I used the whole egg. I know sometimes people just do like an egg whitewash or whatever. I just don't like to throw things away, so I just used the whole egg and it was fine. And I did this on both sides. And then into the oven they go at 375 degrees for 25 minutes. And they should come out looking just slightly toasty and brown.
Oh, I am so frustrated. Some of them leaked again, and I had them sealed so tightly. Same thing happened to me last time. The filling just randomly leaks out of some of them, and I don't know what makes the difference. So if you guys know, please feel free to help me out. I would love to know the answer because empanadas are like the best. I guess I'm just need more practice with it. I don't know. I really thought I crimped them nice and tightly, but 25 minutes was perfect, I would say. And they look delicious. Like, look at this one right here. That's like picture perfect. If only they all look that way, right? Also, if you live near Sarasota or you ever get to take trips there, Empanada Girl, the best empanadas. It's just kind of a knockoff of her recipe. Okay, pretty or not, these are amazing. They're just slightly sweet with that pesto in there, and then like the gooey cheese, so good. Add meat if you want, like I said, that's totally fine. Whatever you would put in a pizza, I'm sure you could do here. I just looked up what was in the 4 cheese empanadas from the Empanada Girl in Sarasota, Florida, because I love those, and I kind of made my own twist on it. So let me know if you make these. They're amazing, whether they're leaking a little or not. I don't know, so good. One of my absolute favorite things about summertime is for sure the beach trips and the pool parties and just all of the water life. And I'm not the type of person when I'm out in the sun that I want to reach for like the potato chips and like the chocolate and stuff. I would much rather have something like a little bit salty and filling. And so pasta salad has been my go-to this summer. I have tried so many different pasta salad recipes in my life, and I finally hit across my favorite combination. And I think what makes it so delicious is the balsamic vinegar. Sorry if you hear my pasta water over there. It's just now coming to a boil. Let me take care of that quick. Feel free to use whatever pasta you like, but I'm gonna be using just penne. You can get like tri-colored pastas, but my pasta salad is gonna be colorful enough without colorful pasta. So right now I am just stringing these snow peas, and I will show you guys how I make my pasta salad. It is so refreshing. It's just salty, a little bit of undertones of sweetness from like the cherry tomatoes, and I do put a little splash of sugar in my sauce. So yeah, I am so happy with this recipe. Also, I did want to say, if you don't like your pasta salad to have any like hints of brown in it, don't use balsamic vinegar, just use like a regular white vinegar or something. I don't mind because it tastes so much better. So I just use the balsamic vinegar, and you could try to get your hands on some white balsamic. I was not able to. I went to Giant, and that's because I figured they're definitely gonna have all the fancy stuff, and they didn't. But if I would have had time to run to the little shop in Lidditz called Olio, I probably could have found some white balsamic that would have worked amazing.
So after I had the snow peas strung, I went ahead and diced up some hard salami. I just get this at Aldi. We like to eat it straight, but it also adds a lot of really nice flavor to pasta salad. And I always like to include sweet cherry tomatoes. I'm so excited for when my garden is giving them. And I also diced up some cheese, whatever I had in my fridge. I think it was a combination of cheddar, and then I had some stuff from Trader Joe's. Just use whatever you prefer. Actually, this recipe is really good with mozzarella balls. Just dice them up smaller because they're kind of big compared to everything else. And green olives are our favorite, the ones stuffed with the pimentos. And that's pretty much all I added this time. You guys can add whatever you would like. I really feel sheepish giving you guys a recipe because you could just do what you want. So for the sauce, it is just 3/4 cup olive oil and 1/4 of a cup of balsamic vinegar. And you can use white vinegar if you'd rather. I just love that balsamic taste. And then there's nothing like using your own fresh herbs if you happen to have them. I at this moment had parsley and basil in my little patch, so I got that. But then I had to use dried oregano, as my oregano, I'd used most of it up previously and it hadn't regrown yet. And then I also added garlic salt, some sugar, some pepper, a pinch of salt, and I can't stand onions, so I just added a little bit of minced onion for a little bit of depth, and then fresh lemon juice just to make everything pop. Then you pretty much just combine that mixture and pour it over all the ingredients and toss it together to combine. And I like to let this in the fridge for a little while before we eat it. This is a great thing if you're making it for a crowd, to make it the day ahead of time, and it'll just sit there and the flavors will percolate and just be so good. I love having chilled pasta salad ready to pull out for a party. It's so colorful, bright, and it really is not a lot of work. So let me know if you try it out. And time to take a thumbnail. I didn't know if I should call this next recipe a breakfast or a dessert, so I'm putting it at the end of the video. You can decide. Here I am making it for breakfast for my kids, but I love to do berry crepes in the summer, especially when fresh berries are easier to find. And this recipe is actually from my grandma. It's kind of a pancake recipe rather than a crepe recipe. I think she might have called them flapjacks, but it's basically just milk, flour, some confectioner's sugar, melted butter, and some salt, and you just make this really thin batter. And then I heated up my cast iron skillet. I think this one's about a 10 or 12 incher, and I waited till it got decently hot. I think I had it at number 7 on my stove, so like medium high heat. And then you just cover the bottom just so you cover the bottom so that way it's paper thin, and you let it cook for like a minute or two, and then you flip it around and let it brown on the other side. And I will say this is a kind of a learning curve to make sure you don't have your heat too hot. I felt like as I was cooking, my skillet got hotter, and so I ended up pulling it off a couple times and back on again. So you might have to adjust it a little bit. At the end, I was actually making the last ones on the number 5, so like medium. So it's actually really easy once you get the hang of it. It's just to find that happy medium with the temperature is sometimes a little bit tricky. And then to finish these off, I stuffed them with some Nutella and then summer berries. I just used blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries, and folded that up. And on top, I added a dollop of my homemade whipped cream. This stuff is so amazing. I just make it with a splash of maple syrup and some powdered sugar. It is way better than bought. And then just some more berries, and then just a drizzle of warmed up Nutella. I know you guys will like this recipe whether you decide to eat it as a breakfast or a dessert.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was a little bit inspiring and that you make some of these recipes. Please tag me on Instagram if you do. I love to see what you guys are cooking up, especially if my video was the inspiration for it. Also, check out that Daily Harvest $40 off coupon. We love it, and I know you guys will as well. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you next week when we escape the kitchen and we go out and about in Lancaster County. I'm so excited for that video. It is going to be a fun one. I'll see you all then. Bye, everyone.